Buongiorno a tutti, siamo nell'Università La Salle di Barcellona per intervistare Cristian Acosta-Flamma, responsabile di Telanto, già vicepresidente di SAP. L'intervista è su leadership e valori.
Cristian, grazie per questa possibilità, di averci dato questa possibilità di intervistarti. Io volevo chiederti per iniziare, tu per più di un decennio hai coperto ruoli di top management in SAP e con anteriorità anche in altre in organizzazioni globali. Volevo sapere, adesso ti stai dedicando al talento e al leadership, poi ci spiegherai meglio come tua esperienza personale, in che misura i tuoi valori come persona sei riuscito ad integrarli con i valori dell'impresa in cui hai lavorato a livelli di top management e quanto questo è stato facile, difficile e importante.
Thank you for the question. Basically, I think when you work in a company, as I did, for instance, for many years in SAP, where the company had a very good set of values. And of course, if the company has a very good set of values, then it is much easier for you to integrate and put your little grain of sand on top of it. Which brings me to the point that the experience that I had in SAP was probably a little bit different from what some other colleagues might experience, because the basis was available, the basis was there. There was always a good morale, good ethics. You know, there was a very good understanding about what leadership is and to what extent you attach the leadership skills needed by top management to the values. So I think that was one of the easiest parts. Of course, you always try to evolve as a person, you try to evolve in your personal career, and you want to put your own little thing on top. And that really helps when the basis is profound and good.
Simon Dolan, il promotore del leadership management e coaching by values, spesso afferma che un reale processo di cambiamento o di trasformazione può avvenire solo con il commitment del top management. Tu come hai fatto o come faresti ad assicurarti che tutti i leader siano a bordo?
Yeah, that's very important, that you have to have the entire board of the leadership team behind such a profound decision. It is attached to good communication. Sometimes you need a sponsor, an executive sponsor, to have the vision very clear about what you want to change. And I think it's important to make the differentiation between change and transformation, because once you do the change, you can go back. But once you do a transformation, that's for good. So you need to have that advocate, that visionary individual that helps the entire management team to get behind that vision. So in essence, what I've experienced is always to discuss with the management team what is the current status quo of the value and of the mission of the company. And that brings up a lot of questions in the team, and it brings in a lot of insights into what may needs to be changed or transformed. And when you have a good session with your leadership team where you discuss the current status of your values and the future values that you want to achieve, it is always important to have them have a say, in a sense that it's Paolo who has an idea about the value that he's missing, or that he needs some adjustments, or that he feels needs to be changed or transformed completely, and that you start to develop your own value behind your idea, and that as an entire team you agree on the values. Of course, it's a negotiation process. Not everything that everyone says will be in line with, the vision and the mission, but it gives you as a leader enough support from the management team to be supportive. In a sense, you have less political barriers to break down. And when you close the door after the meeting, you have some advocates. You have some people that have passion for the values that you have created and that want to go on and spread the word. Not everyone will have the entire set of values clear, but at least he will have the 2 or 3 values that he put on the table as, a good starting point to have that discussion with his team and the organization that he may lead. So I think, these are the 2 fundamental things. The teamwork on defining the new values and the leadership capabilities, as well as having an executive sponsor who, allows the management team to have a voice in the transformation. And when you talk about values in an organization, value is a very broad definition. And you need to understand that the definition as such can be interpreted in many different ways. And when we talk about the values that, when we read the book from Simon Dolan, we're not talking about financial values. We're really talking about the values that are part of a group, part of, the DNA of the company, which are more ethical, which are more moral values that transmit something to the entire workforce, that transmit something to the partner ecosystem that works with you, as well as your customers and service providers. So I think it is very important that you make this distinction. But what I have seen and what I've learned in particular from Simon is that you can only have good financial values, monetary values, if you have a stable and good values around, moral and ethical behaviors within the organization. Actually, I think, and most of you have heard it and seen it before, where, CEOs come up and say, our most valuable points or the most valuable stakeholders in our business are our customers. I think that is so true, but at the end of the day, I think the most valuable stakeholder is actually your employee. So if you bring that value to the employee, he will transmit that value to your customers and partner ecosystem. And I think, in essence, this is what you want to achieve.
Durante la presentazione del penultimo libro di Simon, questo a gennaio, Leadership Management and Coaching by Values, tu avevi parlato di uno dei 10 comandamenti, quello rispetto a identificare e risolvere problemi. E avevi parlato concretamente di un tema che riguarda le persone. Spesso il problema è che le persone non riescono ad articolare qual è il problema. Questo indica in qualche maniera o mi fa pensare che oggi un leader o una leader ha bisogno di sviluppare competenze quasi da coach, non tanto per fare un lavoro di coaching quanto per riuscire a comprendere e a sviluppare nelle persone la capacità di capire quali sono i problemi. Qual è la tua esperienza rispetto a questo?
Yeah, this is a tricky one. Out of the 10 mandatories that or commandments that Simon indicates in his book, for me this is the most important one. In particular, when you're moving, large organizations, because first of all, whether you're in business to produce or whether you're in business to serve, and it doesn't matter at what scale, but you will always face problems or challenges. Problems is maybe not the right word. Let's say challenges. And these challenges actually hinder the organization and the entire leadership to execute more smoothly. So when you actually understand that challenges are everywhere and that you may be part of a challenge, and that saying there is a challenge is nothing bad, because it helps you to become more innovative. It helps you to get a product out the door faster. It helps you to service a customer better. because that is what every leader strives, what every CEO is striving for, then that is something that you clearly have to communicate to the people, that it's not the people that are the challenge or the problem. It's the people are there to solve the challenges. And in order to solve a challenge or a problem, you have to have a certain way of trust and confidence that everybody feels open enough to say, well, I'm sitting on this particular challenge I cannot solve. That doesn't mean that this person is redundant, he doesn't know anything. He has values and he is open enough to articulate. So if you don't articulate, you cannot solve. So that is kind of the conclusion I got to. And when you understand that this is happening in each and every organization, in whatever industry, in whatever geographical area, and it's not particular, the Italian companies or the English companies or the American companies have these and that challenges. No, it's homogeneous. It's generic. You need to establish certain ways, certain values in which you actually give credit to the people that are open enough to share these challenges with you. For me in particular, as a leader, you have to do sometimes things that are not part of your agenda as a leader. But you have to do and identify a challenge that maybe you are sitting on, and that everybody could say, well, it's been Chris who is the problem. Yeah, but it's not Chris, it's the problem. You have to help them to, detach their name, their personality with a challenge, and you have to give them, ways in which they can start to articulate it well enough. And show everybody that it's not a problem to have that challenge in your group or in your organization. In fact, when I think about talent management, I think we all would be doing better if we find out the people that are actually well in articulating challenges and helping to solve these challenges than the ones that completely decouple from these topics and just follow their performance and goals.
In effetti, nel tuo nuovo progetto sul talento, quanto pesano i valori?
Yeah, I mean, value is, I would say, 1,000% of everything we do. Since we are a project that is fairly young and fairly recent, we are trying not to go too much for these are the values. Of course, we have our list of values. But what I think is more important for us is when we recruit people, that we recruit people with a certain set of values that are close to the values that we have. The reason why we're doing it this way is simply because of scale. We're rapidly growing, and we cannot waste our time is probably the wrong word, but we don't have the time to educate people on the values that we have. So we really have to pick the people that have kinds of the values that are associated to what we do and how we feel, because they will be the leaders of tomorrow. And because nothing is set in stone, we want them to develop, and we want the values to develop, because it's a new area, new niche that we're developing. And of course, it's a new type of person that we're looking forward in order to help us grow and service our customers. But values, as a matter of fact, is, I would say, 60% or 70% of the entire interview process.
Prima ci stavi spiegando del tuo progetto. Potresti descrivere di che si tratta?
So Talanto is an academic business network, and in this academic business network we bring together universities, or in particular faculty and students, to solve real-time challenges, real-time company challenges, which means brings us back to the previous question we had about identifying a problem and solving the problem. So we help companies to actually identify the problems or challenges within their organizations. We help them articulate these challenges, and we have these challenges solved by young student communities across the globe, which means the companies are starting to have access to a solution by a team of 5 that solve it, that come up with a solution during 90 days approximately, and they have access to talent. And that gives them, you know, the opportunity to start an early talent relationship management process. The foundation of what we do is called the action or experimental learning. It was developed in the 70s, and Telanto is the first and only company that is digitizing the entire process towards a transactional system. So for the time being, we've been already working close to with 3,500 students, and we solved already a lot of challenges from a lot of industries: chemical, pharmaceuticals, logistics, and consumer goods, and some others. Yes, we collaborate with universities. La Salle, for instance, is one of our customers. So we work with IESE as well. We have universities in the UK, in Switzerland, in America, in Australia. So it's an interesting market for us, where we were born global. And when it comes to the values, it's important that you transmit the values of something digital, of something novel, of something new. And also the entire workforce is very young. And it's interesting, because when you're coming out of a large company that has been in business for more than 40 years and you establish your own project, it's a different type of workforce that you find and that you work for and that you work with. There are different hunger and different appetite in growing and growth and personal career development, and that is very new to me, but again, the values really help to manage that.
Grazie Christian.
My pleasure. Thank you.
A presto e alla prossima.